In a small town, there lived an old veteran named Frank. He had served in the military for over 20 years, dedicating his life to protect and defend his country. Frank was known for his bravery and commitment, having fought in several wars, where he displayed incredible courage. After returning home, he settled in the community, where he became a symbol of strength and resilience. Frank often shared stories of his adventures, and many residents admired him for his sacrifices. He volunteered at local events, helping younger generations learn about history and honor. His kindness made him a beloved figure, children looked up to him, and adults respected him. Despite his age, Frank carried himself with pride, wearing his service cap as a badge of honor. Yet, not everyone understood the value of what he had given for their freedom. Little did he know, on this day, that respect would soon be tested in an unexpected way, leading to a confrontation that would change everything. One sunny afternoon, as Frank strolled through the park, he noticed a group of bikers gathered near the entrance. Their loud laughter and the revving of their engines filled the air, but it soon turned to something more menacing. As Frank walked past them, one biker, with tattoos covering his arms and a sneer on his face, called out mockingly, "Hey, old man. What's your story? Still fighting battles in your head?" The other bikers erupted in laughter, encircling Frank and blocking his path. They leaned in close, taunting him about his age and his veteran status. Frank felt a knot in his stomach as they pushed him to the edge of the path, their intimidating presence overwhelming. He stood tall, trying not to show fear, but their bullying continued. The laughter rang out like thunder around him, shattering the peaceful atmosphere of the park and forcing Frank to confront a different kind of battle, one that required strength he hadn't anticipated. Just a short distance away, Jason Statham was out for a leisurely walk, enjoying the sunny day. As he approached the park, he noticed a crowd gathered near the entrance. Curiosity piqued, he drew closer and quickly realized the scene unfolding before him. His heart sank at the sight of Frank being cornered by the rowdy group of bikers. Statham's expression shifted from casual interest to a serious concern. He had always respected those who served in the military and felt a deep sense of duty to protect those in need. The laughter and jeers from the bikers were unmistakable, and he could see Frank's discomfort etched on his face. Without hesitation, Statham clenched his fists, feeling a surge of determination swell within him. He knew he couldn't just stand by and watch. This was not just an attack on Frank but an affront to all veterans. Stepping forward, Statham prepared to confront the bikers, ready to defend the old veteran and restore dignity to the moment. With a steady resolve, Jason Statham approached the group of bikers, his eyes locked onto the leader who had been taunting Frank. "Hey," he shouted, his voice cutting through the chaos like a knife. The laughter died down as all eyes turned to him, surprise mingling with hostility. Statham stood tall, exuding confidence and strength, making it clear that he would not tolerate their behavior. "Why don't you pick on someone your own size?" he continued, his tone firm but calm. The bikers exchanged glances, clearly taken aback by this unexpected challenger. Statham stepped closer, intimidating yet composed. "This man has served our country. Show some respect," he added, gesturing toward Frank. Judging by their expressions, it was evident that the bikers were reconsidering their actions. Statham's bravery inspired others around them to pay attention. He was ready to defend Frank and ensure that the veteran would no longer face humiliation, standing up for what was right in that moment of need. The bikers froze for a moment, taken aback by Statham's unexpected intervention. Confusion flickered across their faces, but it quickly shifted to aggression as the leader stepped forward, a sneer forming on his lips. "Who do you think you are?" he spat, trying to regain control of the situation. The laughter that had faded returned, but this time it felt more uncertain, like a storm brewing. Statham held his ground, unwavering in the face of their hostility. The other bikers exchanged whispers, unsure whether to back their leader or shrink away from Statham's fierce gaze. The tension in the air was palpable as they sized each other up. "Just some guy who won't let you bully an old man," Statham replied coolly, refusing to back down. The bikers bristled at his words, their bravado clashing with the reality that they were now facing someone who wouldn't back down easily. The atmosphere crackled with potential violence as they prepared for what might happen next. The air grew thick with tension as Jason Statham and the bikers faced off, each side sizing the other up. Statham remained calm, his eyes piercing through the bravado of the bikers, while they exchanged nervous glances among themselves. The leader stepped closer, fists clenched at his sides, trying to project strength despite the uncertainty creeping in. "Let's see how tough you really are," he growled, attempting to provoke a reaction. Statham shifted slightly, positioning himself protectively in front of Frank, who watched with a mix of admiration and apprehension. The onlookers in the park held their breath, sensing that something was about to unfold. The other bikers fidgeted, torn between loyalty to their leader and the realization that they were outmatched by Statham's unwavering stance. With the sun casting long shadows around them, it felt like a showdown straight out of a movie. Every heartbeat echoed in the silence, leaving everyone waiting for one side to make a move that could change everything. As the standoff intensified, more people began to gather around the park, drawn by the commotion. Whispers circulated among the onlookers, and a sense of support for Statham and Frank began to grow. Families with children and individuals enjoying their day suddenly felt a shared responsibility to stand against the bullies. "Leave him alone," shouted a voice from the crowd, followed by others who joined in, echoing their support for Frank. A couple of local teens stepped forward, emboldened by Statham's bravery, showing they were willing to back him up against the bikers. The atmosphere shifted as community members rallied together, ready to stand beside the veteran they respected. The bikers noticed this groundswell of support, their confidence wavering as they realized they were no longer just facing Statham. The show of solidarity from the crowd underscored the importance of standing up against intimidation, reinforcing Frank's dignity and letting the bikers know their behavior would not be tolerated in this community. Facing the bikers, Jason Statham took a deep breath, his voice steady and strong. "Listen up," he began, commanding their attention. "What you're doing here isn't just wrong, it's cowardly. Bullying someone because of their age or past is not what real strength looks like." He gestured toward Frank, who stood beside him, proud yet vulnerable. "This man fought for your freedom and for the values we all hold dear. He deserves respect, not mockery," Statham continued, his eyes piercing into the leader of the bikers. The tension hung in the air as his words sank in. "If you want to be tough, try showing some decency instead of hiding behind your bikes and bravado." Statham's message resonated with the crowd, who nodded in agreement. "We all have a duty to protect those who cannot stand up for themselves," he said firmly. "Real heroes don't bully, they uplift. So, what's it going to be?" The bikers exchanged uncertain glances, clearly rattled by his passionate stand. The atmosphere hung heavy with tension as the bikers exchanged glances, their bravado beginning to crack under the weight of Statham's words and the crowd's unwavering support. Slowly, the leader of the bikers stepped back, his tough exterior faltering as he realized they were outmatched. "Fine," he grunted, his voice laced with frustration, "we're done here." The other bikers shifted uneasily, muttering among themselves as their camaraderie started to dissolve. One by one, they climbed onto their bikes, the roar of engines revving feeling less like a display of power and more like a retreat. Statham nodded in approval at their decision, then turned to Frank, who looked relieved yet still shaken. The crowd erupted in cheers and applause, celebrating this small victory over bullying and intimidation. "Thank you," Frank said quietly to Statham, gratitude shining in his eyes. The two men stood together as heroes in the eyes of those around them, embodying the strength of community and respect for those who serve. In the aftermath of the incident, Frank felt a renewed sense of dignity wash over him. The support from Jason Statham and the crowd reminded him that his years of service were not forgotten, instilling pride in his sacrifices. As he stood among the applauding community, a warmth radiated in his heart, he realized he was not alone. No longer just an old veteran, Frank felt valued as a member of a supportive community that recognized the importance of defending each other. The encounter had reaffirmed his belief in the strength of kindness and respect. Though shaken at first, the incident transformed into a moment of empowerment. Walking home, Frank's chin lifted higher, his step more assured. He reflected on how standing up for one another could create ripples of change. With renewed determination, he decided to share this experience with fellow veterans and young people alike, encouraging them to always stand against bullying and honor those who fought for their freedom. Later that day, as Jason Statham reflected on the event, he felt a deep sense of fulfillment. Watching Frank regain his dignity and seeing the community unite left an indelible mark on him. Statham had always respected veterans for their sacrifices, but this experience reinforced his belief in the need to actively defend those who cannot stand up for themselves. He thought about the importance of kindness and courage in everyday life. It doesn't take a superhero to make a difference, he mused, realizing that anyone can be a voice for the vulnerable. This incident reminded him that true strength lies not just in physical prowess but in standing up against injustice. Statham felt grateful to have been part of something larger than himself, where respect and support triumphed over bullying. He vowed to continue speaking out for those in need, using his platform to encourage others to do the same. Standing alongside veterans like Frank, he knew he was part of a movement that could inspire change and promote kindness in the world. In the end, the incident in the park became a powerful reminder of the impact kindness and bravery can have on a community. Frank felt a renewed sense of belonging, knowing that he was not alone in his struggle. Jason Statham's intervention and the support of the crowd underscored the importance of standing up for each other, especially for those who face bullying and intimidation. Communities thrive when individuals look out for one another, showing respect and compassion. The cheers that erupted after the bikers backed down echoed a shared belief that everyone deserves dignity. This moment sparked a conversation about the role each person plays in protecting others. As people went back to their lives, they carried with them the message that real strength comes from kindness and solidarity. Frank, now more empowered than ever, vowed to share his experience, inspiring others to cultivate a culture of respect and bravery. Together, they could create a world where everyone feels valued and safe, ready to uplift one another in challenging times.